That's good.
Goose laugh. Did you hear that goose laugh?
No.
It's the... I've been getting that. Hello.
Hi. Welcome back.
To Sometimes Ciabatta Slaps.
We're feeling good.
I'm Mac.
I'm Jubes. Every time I say that, I want to be like, I miss Jubes. Because I totally forgot that we said that until I was editing that video, and I was like, that's hilarious.
Well, yeah,
that's actually really funny.
It was at the end. But here's the thing is that I threw you off, and then I laughed at you for it.
Well, yeah, because you were like...
Because I was supposed to say, I'm Mac Joy, but I just said, I'm Mac, and you said, I'm It's Jubes.
Yeah, I was just like so used. I was like, we're just saying our handles right now.
Like, you were right.
Like, I don't have a name anymore, I just have a handle.
But the scenario of the whole thing was just so funny, because you were in the right, I was in the wrong, but the way you're just like...
I was just like, I'm It's Jube, and then it was like a beat, and I was like, that wasn't the right thing to say.
But it was. I was wrong. I threw you off, which was like really funny though.
You just got me back for starting the gingerbread video off, being like, I'm It's Jubes, and you were like, I'm Mac Joy, and this is Sometimes Ciabatta Slaps.
I forgot about that. Oh my gosh. And welcome back to Book Club, baby.
Yes, book club number 3.
Yeah.
Trace.
See?
Trace, wow.
We are in janvier.
Ooh.
And then, yeah, so this month's book club, as we announced at the beginning of January, we are doing Badass Habits by Jen Sincero.
Yes. For the audio listeners, I'm doing the YouTube vlog showing with my hand behind the book.
I love it. So Jen Sincero is a New York Times bestselling author, speaker, and motivational cattle prod, as described on her website.
Okay, I was like, that's a really odd term.
I know. Yeah, I went to her website just to kind of see how she talks about herself. But yeah, she's an author of Badass Habits, You Are a Badass with Money, the whole You Are a Badass series.
There was one other book that she authored that I thought was interesting. The Straight Girl's Guide to Sleeping with Chicks.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Yeah. So I'm really interested about the premise of that book.
Yeah.
Sick gnar. She also authors Don't Sleep with Your Drummer. So that feels like a very personal anecdote.
Yeah.
But yeah, so basically this book is just like, what are habits? How do you build them? What do they do for you? Mm-hmm. How do you break them? That was an interesting thing. She talked a lot about like breaking habits that no longer serve you or that you don't want. Mm-hmm. Which when I think of a habit, I only think of like building or creating them instead of like breaking them. Yeah.
No, so it's interesting. I found this book to not be particularly informational, I guess. Like, it's not like an overwhelmingly informational. It's like, it's technically everything that you just need to hear in that moment, if that makes sense, rather than I didn't really learn anything from the book, but she just broke it down in a way that if someone did need to learn from this book, it's very easy.
I found there was a lot of like, I don't know if like metaphor's the right word, but like could have been shortened quite a bit if there was just less of those. But like, again, you need that to put it into perspective so that you can understand like what she's actually trying to say.
Yeah, she does a lot of stories and examples and whatnot from that.
Yeah.
So as per book club method, we're just going to dive right into it because these always end up being so long.
Exactly. Oh yeah, my notes are not in the book.
Chapter 1 of her book. This one's only 5 chapters long. And chapter 4 is more of like a worksheet in book format rather than like an actual chapter. So 1 to 3 is kind of like the information bulk. Chapter 4 is like a worksheet, and chapter 5 is just like an affirmation.
Yeah, it's just like, you got this, you can do this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Felt very optimistic.
Yeah, very much so.
And so the first thing I have like noted for chapter 1 that I really liked is habits of more habits are more about who you're being rather than what you're doing.
Yes.
And that was like, I don't know, I just resonated with it enough. I really liked how she worded that.
Yeah, because it's just like, because so often we think about habits of like something we're doing and not turning like yourself into that habit. Because that was one thing that I really liked is she's like, you need to make your identity this habit in order to fully live it. Like you have to shift your identity to match the habits that you're adopting.
Yeah. And to like just jump off the bat here, like I didn't actually get into fitness until I was like, no, I'm like the fitness girl. Like I'm strong, right? And I'm going to show up and I'm going to be this person. I'm not going to hold myself back and be like, I can't do that. Exactly. I'm just weak. I'm just the fat friend. And
yeah,
and I talked that into existence in many ways, right? But
yeah, she kind of writes like you have to start thinking, acting, and perceiving the world like the person you want to become, which is kind of like another form of manifestation where you're like, like with you, like you need to believe, hey, I'm a fit girly in order to be a fit girly.
Yeah, it's a lot of it is mental and again, I spent my entire childhood talking to myself like, oh no, I'm the fat friend.
Yeah.
Even though I was not.
Just all of your friends were really short.
And then sure enough, I put on this weight and then I actually was fat.
Yeah.
It's so weird. I'm at this weird in between
Fat's
right now.
not a bad word.
No, but yeah, like now that I am big, I'm like, oh no, I really was not.
Yeah, exactly.
But now I'm like, no, I'm not big. I'm strong.
And there's, yeah, exactly. And that's the whole issue with weight too, right? Like muscle weighs more than fat. So you're like, you might not lose weight, but you're going to gain a whole lot of muscle and still weigh the same, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah.
So it's like that weird in between right now with fat loss and fitness.
Joyous.
Fun.
Yeah.
And then so another key thing about this chapter is like one of the main reasons why people don't stick to habits is because we get bored emotionally and mentally. And that's why integrating it into your personality is so important. Mm-hmm. And even saying that now, I keep making this joke of like, I've made sled pushing 500 pounds a personality trait.
Yeah.
It's like, hi, my name is Michaela. I can sled push 500 pounds.
Yeah. That's like a habit. Like that's something really good. Cause yeah, along with that is, I thought it was interesting how she was like, you need to start your habits in the morning because it's easier to complete them before any of the distractions from like your day-to-day life kind of seep in and any temptations come from that.
Well, and I see it. I mean, even with working out, I prefer to work out in the morning. Yeah. But when I have to work out in the, like after work or something, right, in the afternoon, I'm dragging my heels and sometimes I'm not working out as hard and it just is what it is, right?
Well, and you have less energy too, right? Like it's a lot easier to just go home at the end of the workday instead of like, okay, I'm waking up to go work out. So I need to go work out. Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Fully. And so chapter 1 also talks about the key elements of habit building. And so these are the trigger, which is a feeling, sound, event. Yeah. The sequence, the trigger, and then like the need for like response and reward once you get it.
Yeah. So with the sequence, there was just a thing that a little blurb. She was like, you are establishing new neural pathways in your brain that allow the habit to like work for you, and so you literally have to change the chemistry of your brain. Yeah. For this habit, which is just bonkers because no one ever says that.
Well, habit formation is a formation of learning, right? And the way you learn anything is repetition.
Exactly. So, but yeah, it was just weird to be like, you have to change your entire brain in order to do this, because I'm like, wow, that's a lot of work for a habit, but like, you gotta do it.
But it's a lifestyle, right? And you won't necessarily, like, again, I go back to fitness because it's something that was on my bucket list since like junior high. Yeah. I'm going to work out more. No, I didn't actually do it until I lost my health. Yeah. And so that was my like trigger for like a full lifestyle overhaul, right?
And that's, she talks about that a lot. She's like, a lot of people don't start that habit until they're given like almost the ultimatum of like, if you don't change this, you're going to die. And so like that kind of kicks them in the butt and allows them to. Yeah. Yeah.
Because, again, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
Exactly.
Which is so true in so many forms of life. And And then so, yeah, number 3 is repetition, which is that neural solidification.
Yeah.
Key element is ease. The next one's ease. Because if it's going to cause you friction, you're less likely to stick with it.
Yeah.
Right? And so, again, back to the working out example, this will be a theme throughout the entire episode. Get used to it.
It's one of our main habits.
Yeah. The ease for me for working out is that I don't have to think about what I'm doing. That's why I chose group fitness. I just have to drive to the studio, and once I'm there, I'm getting told what to do.
Yeah, exactly.
And so that is the ease for me until I've built this habit, and then I'm like, oh no, I want to now focus my lifting, and that's when I'll switch to like a good life or something like that, right? That's out of group fitness. But for now, the ease is having me build these habits and getting this knowledge about fitness.
Yeah.
That I was lacking prior.
Well, and even like with myself, like I was doing so good about working out, but then as soon as winter hit and it became more difficult for me to actually like get to the gym, I've completely stopped. So I'm almost kind of like being forced to like, okay, if working out is still so important to me, which it is, I'm gonna need to switch gyms to one that's closer to me so that I actually go. Even though I love the community that's created at the gym that I go to, and it would make me so sad to leave, but it's like, I'm not gonna go.
Yeah. Well, and there's one closer to you.
Exactly. Like I drive past it to get to the other one, so I'm like, well, I should just go there, but you know.
But we'll see how life goes there. The next element is patience. Habit building is not instant gratification, and everyone now is on this high of instant gratification, right? You get it, especially with the younger community, because you have the social media and stuff, which is just dopamine hits of instant gratification.
Exactly.
But good things take time, and good things take consistency, and if you want to get to some place of accomplishment, success, you need the consistency and the time.
Exactly. You have to put in a lot of work to get to a place of like success almost. Yeah.
Rome wasn't built in a day.
And something she says with that is just to like keep track of the progress you've made so you can see how far you come. Whether that's just being like, I went to the gym today. Like I was there, I did that. Or like I woke up and I ate a healthy breakfast. Like keep track of what you're doing to build that habit so that you can see like, you can look back and be like, oh, hey, like, wow, yeah, I did that. Which I like with our challenges and stuff. And we have, like, progress pictures along the way because it's like, that's where I started and this is where I am now. Like, that's a completely different person. That's amazing.
Yeah, fully. And then number 6 is identity. Shift your identity to match the habits you're adopting. And she even explains this, the whole weight thing that we were just talking about now.
Yeah.
If you're identifying as the heavier person who somehow dropped 30 pounds, you'll most likely put the weight back on.
Yeah.
Right. And we also touch on this with environmental triggers when it came to relationships and addictions and whatnot. If you're surrounding yourself with these people who have these bad habits that you're wanting to drop, then you're going to more likely fall back into it.
Exactly.
And so when you're building habits and building lifestyle and changing for what you want in your core, you might lose certain friendships and relationships along the way, and you'll adopt other ones that now fit in with your personality more. Or you'll find out that you value certain people a little bit more than you used to.
Exactly.
Before, because they fit into this like lifestyle that you're adopting.
Yeah, it kind of opens your eyes to like other things and like I don't know, it's just nice to have a support group. Like if you're surrounded by people who are doing the same things and want the same things as you, it's a lot easier to accomplish because you're not fighting every step of the way to get that.
Yeah. And it's not to say like don't blow up every relationship of someone who's like not doing what you want to do, but just note that distance will likely happen with people in your life that don't follow the same values or habits that you're trying to work on. Well,
and you're changing who you are with certain habits. And so that can be very difficult for other people to understand because they like who you are now. They're scared of who you're going to become because then they're worried that either they're not going to like you or you're not going to like them and they're going to lose someone that they hold dear. But like, that's not always a bad thing, you know?
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, ebb and flow of life.
Exactly.
And then so what contributes to identity formation? She talks about words. How do you talk to yourself in reference to this identity of yours? mine, I often call myself a She-Hulk. That's not a good thing to...
Yeah.
It's not a positive word for myself, but it's also indicating, like, girl, she's strong.
Yeah, because that's what I first thought. I was like, yeah, She-Hulk, like, she's strong. Like, don't get in her way. Like, she's strong, but not necessarily, like, the
I sometimes
raging green monster.
Yeah, I say it in, like, a negative way sometimes.
Okay.
Like, big, scary Michaela.
Yeah.
But, no, but the overall, like, how I'm referencing to being strong is, like, oh, I'm, like, really living out my She-Hulk side.
Okay, yeah.
Kind of thing. Thoughts. Like, what thoughts run through your mind when you do things like walk into a room, meet a new person, etc.? I often assume that people are scared of me because of my size, or that people don't like me.
Right.
Which isn't a good way to present myself as this.
Because then when people, they feed off that energy, then you're just confirming your own bias.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I keep talking about examples. Do you have anything that comes to mind when I'm...
Like, I definitely, when I have, like, interactions with people, I need to practice being more, like, confident about it and not, like, shrinking myself down. Because, like, with the imposter syndrome, I saw a lot of imposter syndrome in this chapter. And so I find, like, oh, like, why do you want to talk to me? Like, I'm just little, I don't know anything. Like, but there's actual situations where, like, no, I am an authority in this situation. Even just, like, talking to people at the gas station, like, just go into that with confidence. Be like, hey, buddy, how's it going? Instead of just being like, I just need to hide from everything, you know?
Yeah.
That's how I need to, like, walk into a room.
Yeah. For beliefs, next up is beliefs. What beliefs are you buying into as a result of who you're being? So for me, with this negative self-talk, I'm only scary, I'm not attractive.
Right.
Yeah.
And see, that one was interesting because they also, I don't know if it was in this chapter or a later chapter, where she kind of brought up, like, how steadfast are you in your beliefs? Do they change with other people? Like, and so that's something where I'm not too strong in any of my beliefs. Like, I can be persuaded and I can hear the other side, and, like, it kind of, like, changes from person to person almost. And so that was something that I kind of resonated with, is just being, like, just being confident in my own beliefs and being like, I'm allowed to believe this. This is what I believe, and that's okay.
Yeah. Fully. Feelings. When you think about X, what comes up? Right?
Yeah.
So for me, my example, when I think about being a She-Hulk, I feel closed off. I'm strong. I can do things on my own. I don't need people to like me.
Yeah. Hello, anxious attachment.
It all made sense now. When I wrote this down, this was in December when I read this book, and now I was like, okay,
that's amazing.
Yeah. And then the repeated actions. So what actions do you find yourself doing because of who you're being?
Right.
So I find myself working out lots, not reaching out, pushing people away, negative self-talk, occasional restrictive eating habits, and trying to be smaller.
Right.
Even though I like being strong.
Yeah.
I like being powerful. It gives me a bit of an ego boost. But I definitely have, like, hyper independence because of that.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to find that balance.
Which, yeah, that's a habit you gotta build.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have any thoughts.
Anything else for chapter 1?
Right now. Well, I just have, like, oh, she talked a lot about, humans being scared of change. Which I was like, oh my gosh, like, that's so validating for me. I'm so scared of change. But then I realized that I was just using it as an excuse so that I could continue to be scared of change. I'm like, oh, human beings are scared of change. It's okay that I'm scared of change.
Justification.
Yeah. I was like, no, that's fine. And I was like, wait a second, that's not what she means.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And so she really just gets you thinking about, for me, it was myself. It started bringing what she's saying and, like, turning it inward. And I'm like, okay, like, what is a habit that's not ideal, or what am I doing of my identity? And
yeah,
for me, it's a lot about my physical appearance.
Yeah, definitely.
Physical size.
Yeah. Yeah, I found chapter 1 really enlightening and just, like, in the whole sense of, like, accepting or adopting your identity as the habit that you want to build. But I definitely connected more to chapter 2.
So chapter 2 is healthy boundaries. And so the quote that I have that I really liked from chapter 2 here is, Personal boundaries define where you end and the outside world begins.
Yeah.
Having healthy boundaries means owning your actions, emotions, and needs, as well as not owning the actions, emotions, and needs of others.
And that last part is so important. Mm-hmm. How other people react is not your responsibility. Mm-hmm. You put your boundary out there. How they react to it, that's not on you. That's on them.
And for you, someone who has boundary issues.
Huge for me. I was like, scream that from the rooftops.
No, yeah, you have a lot, and that's where I think that's where we're different, because I'm really good at setting those boundaries almost to a fault.
Yeah.
I'm like, block off, wall up, you're done. Good luck.
Because she separates it into like 3 categories of like 2 yesy, 2 no-y, 2 control-y.
Yeah.
And so, I was like, I'm too yesy. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was nice of her to define boundaries as like, we think of them as like bad, mean, and unbending barriers, but like for us to clearly like set a boundary about who we are is really good for ourselves and for others. Like it's a very important thing. She says it's a gift to everyone, which I was like, this is what I need to hear.
Give it to me.
I was like, I like this.
And so, 2 yesies, like the people pleasing side of things, right? You say yes because you don't want to hurt the other person. Yeah. Too much no comes from like a fear kind of based.
Yeah. More of like a rejection based.
Yeah, I don't want to be rejected, so I'm going to reject them before they can reject me.
Exactly.
And then 2 controlies, like everyone else is going to mess it up. I'm just going to do it on my own because I'm going to do it right. Yeah. And I want to control the situation. I don't want you to ask me for help. I want to ask you for help. And like
exactly.
And I pretty much fall under the control-y side of things, I would say.
Yeah, definitely there was a little bit there.
Because I'm not a people pleaser. I'm not afraid, but I definitely have the control.
Yeah. Yeah, I would see it.
The control side of it.
Yeah. There was just a point, like she goes through like 5 points of like how setting boundaries is going to upset people, but it's okay. Mm-hmm. And so the one that really stuck out to me was if you've been terrible at setting boundaries your whole life and suddenly start sticking up for your fine self and your needs, some people will be disappointed, knocked out of first place, deprived of their doormat, servant, chef, chauffeur, and might whine, plead, call you selfish, and explain that they will perish if you stop doing everything for them. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, I need to get that tattooed on my body.
What are the other ones?
Okay, so that was number 5. The first one is that they no longer get to be right about who you are, and human beings have like a need to be right, so that really upsets them. Mm-hmm. And you've gone from like a known entity to a new unknown entity, and people fear the unknown with the same zest they have for being right, so they're no longer right about you again. And like you're showing them that change is possible, so if there's things that they don't like about themselves, it kind of puts it in their face, like, you can change it too, like, just do it, which a lot of people don't like being confronted with that. Yep. And then in order to shift who you're being and own the new you have to basically kill off your old identity, and people get unpleasant when you kill the people they love. Like, naturally. Yeah, I was like, that makes sense. I was like, that works. Yep. But yeah, so those were like the 5 ways people are going to get upset when you start like setting boundaries. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it makes sense why that upsets people. Yeah. Because again, it changes scary, weird, hard.
Exactly.
And again, when we talk about this, it's not like, do not blow up like relationships with your childhood best friends, right? But just understand that you may not be growing together. You can still have love for a person.
Exactly.
But not have them be like a primary player in your life the same way that they once might have.
Exactly. Right? Yeah. So, and then we have, because she goes through like the 2 yesy, 2 no-y, 2 control-y. And in the 2 control-y one, she has a story about like her sister
Jen falls under the older sister controlling complex like we do, and I thought it was so funny.
And so they used to play a game with her where she would be like, run downstairs, make me and my friend a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, get us some milk, and I'll time you. And then she's like, your record is 6 minutes and 27 seconds, so see if you can beat it. And so then her sister would just like run off and go do it, but then she would just continue playing with her friends and wouldn't time her, and then she'd get back, be like, what's my time? And she's like, 6:47, so close, you'll beat it next time, now get out of my room.
And I read that, and I'm like older sister thing, but very much like Graylin.
Yeah, 100%.
I read that, I was like, that's hilarious.
Yeah, I was like, that's something he would do to Sheraton.
That's the way he describes is what he did. I didn't grow up with you guys.
Yeah.
But the way he described it, I was like, oh my goodness, that is such an older sibling thing to do.
Because I would never think to do that. Like, I would actually time her. But Graylin would be like, yeah, like, go get this. Like, I'll time you. And then it'd be like, oh, yeah, you're like 5 minutes-ish.
Yeah.
Amazing.
But yeah, that's not relevant to habitability, but I was just like,
it's just a funny story.
Funny. If you're an older sibling, let us know if you relate to that
100%
kind of vibe.
And then yeah, she like in this chapter she also uses the example of like starting a new podcast. She's like, yeah, you're gonna need to set boundaries to prioritize starting your new podcast. And I was like, was this book written for me?
Yeah. Well, and so it's funny things, I bought this book around, I think it was last summer 2021.
Okay.
I guess last year was 2022, so almost 2 summers ago now. Wild.
I know, it's the last day of January.
Wild.
Gasp.
No, so I bought this book summer 2021, and I started it, and I didn't get past chapter 1. Mm-hmm. And then, so now when we're kind of revisiting it, mm-hmm. It is very funny for me to like, yeah, have that kind of call you out, and I'm like, wow, talk about divine timing, right? Like,
yeah,
I bought this book then, I needed this information but I didn't realize I needed it
until now. Well, yeah, and like that was something that I was like, I'm feeling so overwhelmed with everything that I have to do, but what I need to start doing is creating boundaries around the thing. Like, I need to be like, nope, I'm recording now. I need to do this now. And I actually was really proud of myself because the other night I actually did that. Like, Bryce called me on the way home and was like, hey, we're having 2 chachis over for supper. And I was like, sounds good. I'll make more supper. But then I was like, I need to get this video edited because it is Monday night.
Yeah.
It needs to come out tomorrow.
Yeah.
And so then I was like, I prepped everything. They got home. I was like, supper's ready when this timer goes off. I need you to finish it. I have to go finish this episode. Yeah. And I just went and did it, and it was totally fine. And it was just like the world didn't end like I thought it was going to if I set that boundary, right? Mm-hmm. So I was like, I just need to get better at prioritizing like what needs to get done instead of like procrastinating it. Yeah. And being like, no, I just rather watch TV right now.
And yeah, so yeah, with the podcast, the boundaries too, I definitely feel some friendship guilt. Because this is my baby right now. This is my priority. Yeah. And so I have very much not blown off friends and stuff, but yeah, this is prioritized for me now.
We're coming at it with a business mindset where we're like, we are going to turn this into a money-making opportunity. And in order to do that, we need to make sacrifices right now in our personal lives.
Yeah. And so for me, on my days off, I don't have the free time to just go visit friends for various reasons. Like, schooling is a priority, and this podcast is a priority for me right now. Yeah. And so on my days off, I'm doing school, podcast, and then friendship is like the last thing I think of. And that sounds so crazy, but in order for me to have that balance in my life and build the habits that I want in my life, you have to have these boundaries. And I love my friends, and I love that my friends are low maintenance people. Yeah. I could not have any high maintenance friends. I couldn't even have a high maintenance relationship. There's no way anything that draws emotional exertion from me is not going to be something
we just don't have time for it right now.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's just because you have everything else going on in life, right?
Literally, like, I need to go back and clean our old apartment, and I'm like, when? Yeah. When am I, like, I have 3 days off in a row, and I'm like, when am I going to do that? Yeah. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. And so that's it. it's just hard. But yeah, no, like having this like deadbeat line, like, no, I can't, I'm doing this, and then I can do this.
Exactly.
And like, you're gonna have to meet me between this time and this time because that's all I've got.
Yeah, exactly. We just need to be like, treating our life like a business where it's like you have a schedule. You're like, I'm doing this time from this time. You need to work around that kind of thing. Like,
I am so sorry, this is what I can offer you.
Yeah.
If it doesn't work, we'll try again.
Yeah, exactly.
Next month. Because that's what it seems to be right now.
Right?
Ugh.
But yeah, I don't know. It's difficult to start a business.
And I used to be more people pleaser-ish. And to the point and that's why my health went to shit.
Yeah.
Because I really wasn't doing much for myself.
Yeah.
That's part of the reason. It's not the only reason, but I very much once upon a time used to be way more people pleasery, and I would like accommodate everything for everyone, and I'd overbook myself, and I'd forget about things, and I'd do a backflip to make it all work.
Exactly.
But now have a little bit more, like, since 2019 I've had more of like a selfish mindset, and that's where I've cut out all of my friends who were a big part of my party scene that aren't my European friends, because I think they just live like, our friendship is just always there. Like in my brain, that friendship is just on pause, and we'll pick it up when we get back. And we may have partied when we were in Finland, but by the time I see them next, some of them are already parents, some of them are married.
Yeah, exactly. Like their life has changed between then and now. Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm talking more so of my North American friends, like the friends that I was super close with at 18, and all we would do and go is drink. I don't talk to those friends or see them as much anymore now, right? Like, my primary social group is you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I have some of my very close childhood best friends that I see when I can.
Yeah.
But all of our lives have just gone like this crazy scattered.
Well, and that's the thing.
Mix.
Like, as you grow up, you get busier. Your priorities shift, and
proximity becomes so much more important for friendships.
You're living your own life, which can be drastically different. You might no longer have things in common with them anymore. So it's difficult to find something to do with them that you both enjoy. So yeah.
Or even when it comes to food, like, a lot of people in my life had issues when I was vegetarian.
Oh yeah.
Which I didn't think was going to be an issue. I'm like, just make something vegetarian or don't invite me over for dinner.
Exactly.
like I'm sorry, this is what I'm doing because I'm healing my health right now. Yeah. Right? Like,
if you don't value me enough to respect me valuing my health, why do I want to be friends with you?
Because a lot of it, I got it like, oh, why can't, just this one time, it's not going to kill you, or blah, blah, blah. I'm like,
it could though.
I'm like, if I say yes to this now, then it's going to be, I'm going to say that it's okay to not respect me. Moving forward. Yeah. Which again saying it out loud, I sound so dramatic. I'm like, oh no, don't be so.
But that's how it goes.
Don't be so dramatic, Michaela. But I'm like, no, but my health going to shit was a traumatic like
exactly
thing in my life, and I did the full 180, and so I did a crazy switch up for many people, and I'm aware of that, and I don't expect everyone to accommodate for me. However, if you're gonna invite me over for dinner, you got to have an option for me there. Or just don't do it at all. Exactly. Don't waste my time. Yeah. Because I can cook myself a delicious vegetarian meal at home.
Yeah, exactly.
If it's going to be too much of a hassle for you.
Yeah. Well, and then it shows you where you stand in their life, right? Too, like, yeah.
And that's what kind of hit. Like, people wanted me to come and just push what I wanted at that time to the side. Because it's not that big of a deal. It's not so dramatic. I'm like, I'm treating it like an allergy right now. You would not make me shrimp. Yeah. Don't make me eat pork, please.
Exactly. And it's really not that difficult. Like, I know when we first started being friends, I was like, you don't like red meat. And I'm like, okay, well then I'll invite you over for lasagna, and I'll just make a lasagna that doesn't have meat in it. Like, and then now I'm discovered ground chicken, and it's completely changed my life. So by altering my recipes to fit your like needs, I found something that I love so much more, and I'm now incorporating into my meals more regularly that's benefiting me. Yeah. So it's like by making that shift, I found something that helped me as well. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah. And that's, I mean, it comes up with like proximity, who you're spending your time with, and if you guys want to grow together or not, and just respect that you may not see each other as much if you don't want to grow together.
Exactly.
That was a fun little rant. I was not anticipating that. So chapter 3 is shape-shifting into the new you.
Yes.
And so with this one, this is when she starts turning the book from an information source to more like a journal, an active journal.
Yeah.
And so for this, she suggests that you should start by listing 5 good habits you've always had, 5 habits that you've worked to get, and 5 habits that you would like to upgrade.
Yeah.
And then you have to make sure your head and your heart are aligned when it comes to setting in these new habits that you want to upgrade. And so some tips for that she has is stick to the 21 days of habit forming, which is the entirety of chapter 4.
Yeah.
Pick back up immediately if you fall off. And if you've tried this before, what can you do differently? And this kind of goes back to episode, our first one of this year, of our goal setting.
Yeah.
If you're on your list of goals has been work out more.
Yeah.
And you don't have any set justification of what more is, maybe try for this time giving yourself, I'm going to work out 2 days a week for the entire year.
Exactly.
I can commit to 2 days. That's not going to be anything extra for me. I'm going to stick with it, and that's going to be my more.
Or even if it's just like, I'm going to commit to 2 days a week for these 21 days.
Yeah. And when you're first starting out,
building that habit, and then being like, okay, that wasn't that bad. Can I commit to 3 days a week for the next 21 days?
Yeah.
Yeah, with working out, because that's definitely one of my goals, is working out more this year. But I found a gym that has given me the results and has made working out fun. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be a lot easier for me to do that now than it was in past years, because that's been a goal where I'm like, I need to exercise more, I need to move my body, like I need to do that, but I haven't been able to find a way until recently that's allowed me to do that.
Yeah, fully. So fun. Do you have any points for chapter 3 here?
I have so many points. Most of them are just like little quotes that she has in the book that I was like, that's really cool. So she's like, commit to change and conviction will follow. So you need to fully commit to what you're doing, which is what I did when I first started going to the gym, because I was extremely overwhelmed and it was changing who I was. So I'm like, no, I'm paying money for this. I need to commit. I need to go. I need to see it through. Otherwise, I'm letting myself down and I'm just paying money for something I'm not using. And then she's like, focus your attention on the desires fueling the habit, not on the habit itself, which is something I mentioned in the goal setting episode, is you need to, like, if this isn't, you need to make sure this is a goal that you're passionate about, that in June you're still passionate about. Yeah. So that you can continue to keep that, build that habit for the whole year. And so then something that's, goes along with the quote of like, good habits are about who you decide to be. With this podcast and the self-help books, I've never been someone to read self-help books on my own. And so then starting this book club, it's been a whole like identity crisis of like, this is not who I am. But I found a way to think about it where it's like, I'm reading these books to help these people, and I know that by reading these books, I'm going to find a way to help myself as well. So as long as I don't frame it as like I need to read these books because my life is falling to shit, then I'm like, I feel less attacked about it, and I'm more open to actually reading the book.
And I feel bad because I definitely feel like I've pushed you to do things that you don't want to do necessarily sometimes.
But I do them because I know that I should be doing them, because I know that it will help you.
Oh, like when it comes to podcast prep, I'm like word vomiting so many ideas at Journey, and she's just, I can see the panic on her face, and she's like, I don't know what to do. She's ready to shut down and just tell me to piss off.
But like, this book is a very important thing for me to read, because I need to know I need to hear the things in this book. I need to know what it looks like to set a healthy boundary. I need to know what it looks like to build a habit or to break a habit, right? So like, I need to read these books. And it's just funny to me that this is what's getting me to do it.
Because for so long, I guess you even said it, I think, with in Graylin's episode.
Yeah.
That you're like, this is not who I am.
Yeah.
Right? And don't get me wrong, we are partners when it comes to the podcast.
Definitely.
I don't force Journey to do anything. I just throw ideas and I'm like, what do you think? And she's like,
I don't know. I need to write an essay about it to figure out how I feel about this.
But that even threw me when you first said, you're like, yeah, I thought this was like a bunch of like BS. I was like, oh. And then I got like really kind of like timid. I'm like, am I forcing you to do something you don't want to do?
But
and then we talk about this and you get excited about cycle syncing. And I'm like, okay, no.
Yeah, because that's just how I've trained my brain to think about it. I'm breaking the habit of thinking self-help books are stupid by reading self-help books that I don't think are stupid. Because all the self-help books I've been exposed to are like my dad's, and what he needs self-help with is a lot different than what I need self-help with. So like, or if we need help with the same thing, I'm going to choose a different author than he's going to choose. Like how it's presented to him is going to change. Like, yeah, I just need it presented in a different way.
Yeah.
So it's like being exposed to these books and being like, okay, this is actually a really good way to put that. Wow, like this is really valuable information. And then I'm like going to Bryce and being like, blah, 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 blah. Did you learn this? And he's like, yeah, Journey, like that, like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, welcome to the chat. This is what I've been telling you. So even like with the finance one, I was like, this is so interesting. And he has like 3 finance books sitting on his desk that I will never read because they're not easy for my brain to read.
Yeah.
But then I read the one by Nicole Lappin and I'm like, oh my goodness, did you know this? And he's like, yes, Journey, I did.
Whereas it doesn't really matter how you get there as long as you get there.
Exactly. And so that's why I'm like very grateful for this opportunity, because it's giving me what I need, but in a way that I never would have thought of going about it. Because why did I have to start a podcast to start reading self-help books? Like,
and even that,
the amount of loopholes I have to go through to like justify reading this book.
Well, and with that, the book club is just meant to be like another supporting evidence of a topic conversation.
Exactly, and it's kind of fun, right? Like a lot of books on our book list are ones that I wouldn't have even thought about reading, right? So yeah, and I'm a sucker for a good book, so
fun.
We love to see it. And then yeah, I think I just had one more thing about this chapter. Trust that the universe always delivers right on time, which we talked a lot about in the last episode.
Yeah, last week's episode, it is very much that, just reiterated and knocked in the jaw.
And it was just like, yeah, got it. That works.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then she was just like, crowd out an old bad habit by creating a new behavior that doesn't allow the old behavior to coexist, which is basically like surround yourself with people who support your new habit. And so I was just kind of like, yeah, plain and simple. That was what stood out to me. I was like, that's good.
Definitely. And then so chapter 4 is her, like as we said, worksheet to habit formation. And so this one chapter is intended to be worked through over 21 days. You read one section of chapter 4 over the 21 days and do the activity that follows with said chapter. We didn't do that.
I was like, I got to day 7 and I was like, people are not going to want to listen to me go through each of the 21 days.
So we have, some of the examples of activities that she puts in here, like the first one is to create a mantra. And so the mantra is meant to be your why, your reminder, and then also an affirmation for you to stick with the habit formation. And so especially if you're building something that feels so unattainable, going back to your mantra to kind of like ground yourself is important. And
with that, I found it funny that both of us did like the manifestation mantra background on our phones this month.
Yeah, I know.
We're both like, wow, this picture's pretty. And then we like put an aesthetically pleasing font and like words that were important to us over top of it, so we could kind of like
I've been
manifest.
I've been really into like some tarot card readings recently, and there was something that stuck out to me, and I'm like, I'm gonna make a phone background.
I know, and I did the same thing. But I did it first this time, which is weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did.
I'm ahead of the game.
So much so. And then other things like, set yourself up for ease, track your progress. Track your progress. Maybe mooch off another habit, right? And this one's if you're trying to floss more, make sure you do it immediately after brushing your teeth every time, right? And kind of build it that way. When
you put your toothbrush back, the floss is right where your hand is, so you can just grab it.
Refuse to participate in negotiations. This kind of goes back to the whole, like, if you're going to invite me over for dinner, you better have something for me to eat.
Yeah.
Otherwise, just don't bother.
Otherwise, I just can't come.
What's the, like, don't wait, why am I here?
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And again, sounds dramatic, but, like...
When you're creating a habit, you need to be dramatic.
When you're
about
going through a health issue, if someone has heart issues in your life, you're not gonna have bacon wrapped everything for them.
Well, yeah, like if someone came over to your house with a severe peanut allergy, you're not gonna serve peanut butter cookies.
Yeah.
Like...
Exactly. It just... Yeah.
Yeah.
Besides the fact. Anticipate excuses and distractions. Reward yourself. Surround yourself with... like good people, create rituals, focus like a friend. Yeah. This one was really interesting because it's like you stepping outside of your body and seeing yourself from a friend's perspective.
Yeah. Yeah. Have the same compassion for yourself as you do for your friends. Yeah.
Like when I'm in my She-Hulk, Debbie Downer kind of mode.
Yeah.
I just need to think about, I'm like, oh no, there's many people in my life who compliment me and all of my friends who adore me, and I need to start thinking of myself or treating myself with the same love that they give me.
Exactly.
Which I feel blessed to have.
Yes.
Speak it into being, cultivate your confidence, book it was a really interesting one.
Oh, okay.
It's make time in your schedule for your habit.
Yes.
As if you would for a meeting. So if you're scheduling, if you want to go to the gym, schedule it in as if you would schedule in a business meeting.
Yeah.
And Nicole Lappin also talks about that in her money book as well.
Yes.
When it comes to saving. Give thanks, pay it forward, surrender, rinse, review, rejoice, repeat. And those are some of the kind of key ones that stuck out to me, but
yeah,
each section gives you another prompt and activity to work with.
Yeah.
In this book.
Yeah, very, very good.
And then chapter 5 kind of ends on a positive note. It's the audacity to be yourself. And the key takeaway that I got from this chapter is you don't need to be perfect, and habits aren't meant to make you perfect. They're meant to make you feel more like yourself.
Exactly. And the last line of the book is loving your whole self is simply a habit. And I was like, preach. Because I really like the way she laid out this book and was like, basically, you need to love yourself enough to create this habit. This whole book is about self-love and doing things for yourself that is going to benefit you in the long run.
And then so how I introed it with this book, I didn't directly learn anything, but I think that's because I've already done a lot of the work.
Yeah.
But it's a fun reminder for me to reflect on. But if you're someone who struggles with habit formation and you're stuck in these cycles that you want to break but you can't quite get there,
yeah,
it could be really like eye-opening for you. And like, what was your experience with the book?
That was how it was for me, where it was like, okay, like these are the things that I want to change. These are the tools that I need to make it happen. Like there's a slim chance of me actually going through the whole 21 days and like reading it every day for 21 days. But like just keeping the things, thinking about the things that I want to change and keeping them at the forefront of my mind so I can make a conscious effort to actually change those things was, I think, really eye-opening. And even just like how much chapter 2 stuck out to me, and like thinking of creating a boundary as a habit was just like mind-blowing. Yeah. So yeah, it was just kind of nice to see everything that I have like heard but presented in a way that I could hear. Yeah. Yeah, that was my takeaway from this book.
I love that.
And so I guess for this segment then, where I guess we don't really like have a segment, we don't really do segments with the books, but we each did the list of like 5 habits that we've created, 5 habits that we've always had, and 5 habits that we want to bring into fruition, pretty much.
So we're just going to share those to wrap them up?
Yeah. Okay, so the 5 good habits that I've always had, it was actually really difficult.
Oh my gosh, so difficult to like sit and brainstorm. Because you're like, what's a habit? How do you define a habit?
Yeah, because she gives examples like getting dressed in the morning is a habit. And I'm like, if that's the only habit I have, like that feels kind of sad. The fact that I just get dressed. I don't participate in a nudist colony. You know? Okay, so yeah. So the 5 good habits that I've always had is I brush my hair every morning. I always make sure I eat supper. I enjoy reading. I have really good study habits, and I'm very empathetic and compassionate.
Mm-hmm. My habits that I've always had, I brush my teeth every night, high protein breakfast every morning. Meaning I almost always have eggs. I've always had eggs for breakfast.
She's a big egg girl over here.
Big egg fan. I take my vitamins. That's been a thing since I was a kid. Mm-hmm. I can cook for myself, which means I don't normally order takeout or whatnot.
Yeah.
Takeout only happens when I'm super busy.
Yep.
And I listen to music daily, which this one felt weird putting on a habit, but it really is. Like
It's something you do, because I just remembered that she phrases it in a way of like, it's your act of self-love for that day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the dopamine release and whatnot from singing, dancing, it is huge in my life.
Yeah, so. It's a stress reliever, for sure.
Fully. Mm-hmm.
We just said the exact same way.
We become the same person.
Literally. Okay, so 5 habits I've intentionally created and or quit is I've started washing my face every morning. I've started finding a place for things so that I can be tidier, so my space doesn't feel as cluttered. I'm starting to brush my teeth more. Thank you to Bryce's dad for buying me an electric toothbrush.
When I first met Journey, she made a comment that shook me to my core. Because if, like, anyone who knows Journey, if you can tell how Journey is right now, she is super, like, perfectionist, clean freak, da-da-da-da-da style. But she made a comment to me. She's like, I don't really care about brushing my teeth. And my jaw hit the cement. I was like, what do you mean? Journey doesn't care about brushing her teeth.
And I'm so afraid of getting any sort of like tooth issue that I should be like insane about brushing my teeth and flossing. But I'm not.
Yeah.
Like, I just need to be exposed to like my forensic notes about like teeth issues and like a skeleton and just like how it just destroys your body.
Like, I would totally pick you as the person to brush your teeth after every meal.
Oh no, what a waste of time.
I was like, sorry? I do not have you pinned at all. It's so wild.
My new toothbrush has it like vibrates every 30 seconds so that I can switch from the 4 quadrants of my mouth and brush for the full 2 minutes. And so my teeth are the cleanest right now than they have ever been in my entire life.
When I found that out, I told you, I'm like, just get an electric toothbrush. And you're like, yeah. You said, yeah, I'm not going to do that.
Well, I'm not.
I'm glad that it was gifted to you because...
So, yeah, Bryce's dad, every Christmas, he just goes shopping in one aisle and buys something for everyone from that one aisle. And so this year it was the electric toothbrush aisle. And so all of us got electric toothbrushes for Christmas.
You needed it. Thank you. Yeah. It's like, it shook. I was like, what do you mean? Because I was talking about how I don't have plaque on my teeth. Mm-hmm. And my dental hygienist is like, yeah, I can pretend to scrape all I want, but there's nothing there for me to scrape. And I'm like, it's my electric toothbrush. I'm like, Journey, you need one.
No, it took me a while to get used to though, because it really just vibrated my whole skull. But anyway, my next habit is that I've quit washing my hair down the drain when I have a shower. I now collect it and throw it in the garbage. Random habit, very good. Bryce appreciates me for it. And then I change out my face cloth regularly so that, I don't know, when I wash my face every day, I have a clean washcloth to do that with.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Habits that I've intentionally created and or quit. I make my bed every morning now. It's fun.
Love that for you.
I work out 4 days a week. Yes. I drink water first thing when I wake up. I have one of those like venti Starbucks like cold cups and whatnot. And I drink that entire thing first thing.
So impressive.
24 ounces right when I wake up. I stopped biting my nails.
Yes.
That's a huge habit for me. I aggressively bit my nails my entire existence.
Yeah, that's a very, very common habit for people for sure.
And then I normally wake up before 7 now. Once upon a time, I used to sleep until like 2 o'clock in the afternoon and not bat an eye.
Yeah.
Now I am a morning person.
That's so sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are all really good things. And so now we have like the 5 habit upgrades that we like to make, and I could definitely write way more than 5. But my 5 right now is fixing my posture, which that's been a goal for me for a really long time. But I've finally learned what it is about my posture that I want to fix and how to fix it. Yeah. So now I have tools to do that.
Yeah.
I want to start working out more. And I want to start cleaning the kitchen before bed and making sure that the kitchen is clean every night, the dishwasher's run, so that in the morning it's not just something that I see and then when I have to go make a meal, I have to clean the entire kitchen first to do that. I want to start eating better for all 3 meals. So having a better breakfast, having a more nutritious lunch, and then incorporating more veggies into my supper. And I need to quit procrastinating chores because I have laundry sitting in my room that just needs to get put away. It'll take 25 seconds, but I'm just like, no, that's going to take too long. And so it just sits there.
Yep.
Which is not nice.
Yeah. 5 habit upgrades I would like to make. Putting more attention into skincare. I am the foul person who just sleeps with my makeup on and then picks off my eyelashes and picks off my mascara.
Oh my goodness. Because you have really nice skin. Like, I never see you with, like, a lot of breakouts or anything. So I would have thought that you had a really good skincare routine.
I know.
Wild.
I only wash my face when I shower.
See, that's like me not brushing my teeth for you. Like, that's weird to me.
Yeah, no, I only wash my face when I shower. I sleep with my makeup more often than I take it off before bed. One thing I'm like super anal on is like my lips. Like, I can't have chapped lips, so that's one thing that's really good.
The other day at work, my boss comes up to me, he's like, Journey, you need to put lip chap on. Your lips are so dried. Like, do they crack and bleed? And I was like, yeah, but I'm also chewing them off because I'm so anxious right now. Like, it's not just the lip chap, my guy.
That's funny.
That was hilarious. Anyway.
So I won't take my makeup off, but I'll put like a lip mask on before I go to bed. I call that skincare.
That's hilarious.
And yeah, the other one time I use cleanser is when I go to shower.
Oh my goodness. You're wild.
I want to prioritize like deep cleaning more. Deep cleaning meaning don't let dust just like live on my shelves for half the year and like wash my sheets regularly. I'm really good at washing my towel now because every time I do laundry I just throw my towel in and so that's been the most consistent that I've ever been with that. Yeah. But yeah, like making a point to like wipe down my sink and clean my sheets and dust and do all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Better time management. Because I feel like I'm always trying to catch time and I feel like I'm not optimizing time or like I shut down or get distracted. So
well, that even goes with your like red flag of double booking yourself too, right? Like
yeah, fully. I want to prioritize more sleep because my endocrine system is not happy with me with my current sleep schedule.
Ooh, I bet you mine hates me. My immune system's mad at me. I don't know how my endocrine system is.
Yeah. When I case study you, we'll touch into that.
I'm so excited.
And then I want to practice outward gratitude. That I did mention that on our goal list. I am internally grateful for a lot of people in my life, but I don't outwardly express it as much as I think people would appreciate. So
yeah, that's fair.
That's that on that.
Sicknar. Sorry, that's my catchphrase right now. I got it from my brother.
The wheeze that you just made. That's good.
Dear.
So that's Jen.
That's Badass Habits with Mak and Jubes and Jen.
Yeah. And featuring Jen.
Yep.
If any of this resonated with you, let us know. We'll be talking
and if you read the book and have any extra thoughts, please reach out to us and let us know. Like, it's very interesting, and we're doing this to create a conversation with you guys, especially, and to yeah.
And then I guess to touch on next month's book is How to Hug a Porcupine.
Yes.
Easy Ways to Love the Difficult People in Your Life by Dr. Debbie Joffe Ellis. Maybe I butchered that. I was gonna say Joffrey. No, it's not Joffrey. Debbie Doffy Ellis.
All right, yeah, because February's the month of love.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're trying to do like a loved theme book without having it be like romance. Blah.
Yeah. So yeah, How to Hug a Porcupine, and then our February episodes are featured to different forms of love.
Yeah.
So,
but not in the way you think. So don't be afraid that we're just gonna be like. The quote that's coming to my mind is Olaf. It's like, all things love. And even though it's just like him talking about summer, but yeah.
Yeah. So that's that. I'm Mak Joy.
I'm It's Jubes.
We are Sometimes Ciabatta Slaps. You can find us on as Sometimes Ciabatta Slaps on all social media platforms.
Yes.
We've
on
been
our website.
Yeah, our website. We've been on it with TikToks.
I don't know, we're popping off.
So it's kind of fun.
We got some good ones.
I feel so old on the TikTok scene.
No, we're prime age. We're prime TikTok age.
No, I'm a Vine kid.
I did not have a phone when Vine was a thing.
Vine was literally a decade ago, and so that's weird for me.
That is weird. Oh,
yeah.
well.
So that's that on that, and ta-ta for now.
Yes, bye.